Yeah, I think the most important thing is to build trust between you and the people who are working under you. In my case, it was not only your coaching group, because you're dealing with assistant coaches, medical staff, physiotherapists, the media guy, and then of course your team. And it's not just the team that starts; it's your squad, it's your group of players who you're dealing with all the time. So you've got to build trust. And we came up with 5 or 6 words starting with C so I could remember them. But you've got to be competent at what you do. As you kick off as a leader, you've got to know what you're talking about. So if I'm standing there in front of a team, I can't be waffling. I've got to be talking, know exactly what I'm talking about. And that gives confidence. That'll give them confidence. You've got to be able to communicate well. And it's not only communicating to a group, it's communicating to individuals, the ability to talk so that the person hears what you say. And in order to do that, you've got to have a connection with that person. So it all goes together. You've got to be really competent. You've got to communicate well and be happy to communicate. But it's not just a communication saying, all okay, guys? Yes, okay, I'm out of here. It's to say, Pete, Frank, Dirk, Francie, how's it going? Is your mom coming this weekend? How are your kids? You've got to find out about the person themselves, because then that person will invest in you. If he thinks you're just there because of his role as a rugby player, and you're not interested in his personality or him as an individual, you won't ever win him over. So you need to win trust by getting to know people and finding out about them. And as soon as you find, and this I knew from my coaching over in Italy and in France, you've got to really invest, particularly in Italy, where they thought I was just coming over as a retirement job. So it was once I could speak the language reasonably well, and also once I could actually talk to the guy about his life, that the results were extraordinary. We had average to poor results for 2 years. And then we just had great results in our last 2 years. And the team just really came together. They saw that it meant a lot to me for them to do well. It wasn't for me, it was for them. I wanted them to do well. And you can only do that by communicating with them, hopefully in their language, but also by making a connection with them as individual people. No one is the same as the guy next door to him, and you've got to find out why and what makes them work. And then you've got to be consistent in your behavior. So another C word, you've got to be, people when they see you, they can't say, oh hell, we lost this last weekend, Nick's going to come in, he's going to be shouting at us and it's going to be a terrible week and we're not going to enjoy ourselves. Then we win and he's all over us and say, you can't, you've got to have a certain level where you keep things in perspective. Even though I am an emotional person, it was something I had to learn. You've got to show consistency of behavior so that the player knows that on any given day he's going to be treated properly. And then if you do those 4 things, you're going to build confidence. And with confidence, you get success. So those are, I think, the main points that I would say about, and it's what I learned in my time, because when I lost a team, it was when I'd lost the trust of that team. And that is it's a horrible position to be in when it happens. And it's generally because you make a decision which goes against the whole tenets of that team. I mean, I dropped a guy, Gary Teichmann, who was their captain, and they just couldn't understand why. And so by taking away a good leader, I turned a group of players who were really good under Gary Teichmann into being 10% worse under any other captain. And I mean, that's committing suicide. It was a really bad mistake.